Hey guys, welcome back. Today we're going to do another issue of Batman Legends of the Dark Knight. This is issue 17 of the Venom storyline, part 2 of 5. And I must say, I'm enjoying this Batman Legends of the Dark Knight series from, this time period. It's not time period, timeline. Sorry, I always say time period, not sure why. Timeline. And I mean, because I noticed that. This is a 5 issue series. Storyline. The story is 5 issues, and then another team comes in. Another writer, another probably letterer, artist, and doing just another completely different story. I like that a lot. And look at this cover, man. This cover looks great. And so in the last issue, it was Batman tried to save a young girl. She died. She drowned. Couldn't help her. Felt helpless, and he traced, look for her father, who's a doctor. I don't believe he's a father. He's way too casual about it that his daughter died. But maybe he is. But then he's giving Batman some pills, and Batman is now getting stronger and stronger. But the downside is that his personality is changing, his demeanor is changing, and that's what we're going to see here in this comic. So story by Denny O'Neil, layouts Trevor Von Eeden, pencils Russell Braun, and inks Jose Luis Garcia-Lopez, who did a lot of, Batman, Justice League, Superman. He's a great artist. I like him. So we start here. The door was easy. The first two punks weren't anything to sweat about either. And the third, he was going to sing me a whole new opera. Only he didn't know that. Not yet, he didn't. Okay, so whoever this guy is, well, I know he's, but is punishing these, drug addicts. So he rips this heater from the wall. Let him see my grin and watch the fear seep into his eyes like oil seeping into the dirty pond. When I spoke, my voice was full of broken glass. So basically, he wants to, I don't know, murder him or something. He says, "Hey, whatever you are, I'll tell you whatever." "Oh yes, I know you will." He just smacks him a couple of times. The man, the connection, your supplier, the scum that sells you drugs. So he says there's a guy called Willie, but I says I put Willie in the hospital 6 hours earlier. It'd have been fun. I hate junkies, and I listened to him gasp for a while. I enjoyed it. The rain outside. The flea bag was cold. The flea bag was cold, but that was okay. Didn't mind a bit. I felt fine. So fine, I had to laugh. So, and then we switched to Alfred. And what, may I, was the point of the exercise? Scare him, Alfred. So it was Bruce. Bruce is just kicking, it's being vicious and, scaring people. Make them afraid to show their faces. I'll see. This, despite the fact that they have committed no crime. No crime, everybody in that crummy hotel had a rap sheet as long as you are. But they did nothing illegal recently. Well, he says they were bent. I could smell it. Ah, the olfactory school of justice. So Alfred says, well, here's the book for you that came today. And it's got toxicology. And but then he's just pulling this. How do you call it? Oh my God! So it has weights on it. I don't know the American word. So a halter, is that how you say it? I'm not sure, but he just pulls it up very easily. 619 pounds. And it says not too shabby, eh? I'm positively chill with operation. I like the dry humor. So Alfred says, "Hey, now that you are stronger, you have way more time to, spend time to study and experiment. Yet in 3 months, you have been taking. Well, he has got some pills. That's why you haven't read a single book and barely glanced at the newspaper. Maybe I've gotten past the need to read. What? Maybe that was just a phase I'd get through." And so Alfred is not, pleased with that. And he says, "This is perhaps, you should recall where you're getting your current information and consider the motives of your informant. You're not making sense. You used to wear this on your nocturnal forays. May I ask why that is no longer so?" Damn, if I it just it doesn't feel comfortable anymore. So yeah, like I said, his demeanor is completely changed. Alfred is, calling out on that, and Bruce is getting a little bit angrier. He says, I got nothing to be ashamed of. Get that loud and clear, nothing. And if you think I do, maybe you're one of them. One of whom? The weaklings, the snivelers who've let the city become a sewer because they're afraid to do what has to be done. Where are you going? Away from you. Maybe you should keep walking. That's an excellent idea. Shame, he said. I'll show him. Of course, maybe I was a little bit rough on him. So, and then he goes to the doctor, Dr. Randolph Porter, and he is a smooth guy. And he says, good day to you. Good to see you again. And right, nice to see you too. Batman doesn't say that normally. You have them? Certainly, but first there's someone I'd like you to meet. So then Commissioner Gordon enters the DC universe. I mean, Commissioner Gordon, what I'm saying. General Talbot Ross, that hunts the Hulk. I'm joking, but he looks like them. So this is General Timothy Ashton Slaycraft. You're an American general? Now, I don't get that particularly because, Gotham is in America, right? Why shouldn't he be an American? But anyway, so this guy's retired, right? He's a general. And he wants to work with Batman because he's some kind of a consultant. And that involves national security, and I like to be Batman, companion, and wants to get Batman on board. Look at this face. But Batman talks about, hey, Dr. Porter, the pills, right? Yeah, and just a moment, just hear him out. I'll certainly think it over, General Slaycraft. Dr. Porter, yes, he says. Now look at this particular scene here. Oh, these, you want these? Thank you, Dr. Porter. There's only 4. Yeah, I've been busy making time to make more of them. Is that not a problem? That's not a problem, isn't it? No, of course not. Oh, man, Batman. And can you return later in the week? Sure, no problem. So he says, do you have any more information about something? He says, no, you have to find bad guys on your own. And then Batman says, well, there's 2 guys called Patsy and Brew. Those are the one that killed his daughter. I will check on them because they are being released. But then suddenly he says, it's not a good idea. Surely there are other criminals you can harass. Okay, sure, says the Batman. He's very compliant. So he's gone. Well, I'm pleased. We're on the ballpark. You notice how dull he seems and how anxious he was to get the capsules? Another week and he's ours. Damn it, Batman. Meanwhile, we have two problems. Patsy and Drew. If he finds out the information I've been feeding him comes from them, that you've been using him to wipe out their competition, and you've been doing business with them. So win-win for both parties, I guess. So, but then General Talbot Ross, who is not Talbot Ross, is, having some phone calls. And then Batman, I don't know, sees some guy, takes him down hard, and he says, okay, punk, you got about 3 seconds to tell me who you are and what you want before I rip your head off. And he says, no, I'm Timothy Slaycraft. I'm waiting for my daddy. So he says, well, you're a son of the general. And he stands up, and he's very tall. Look at this innocent, goofy guy. And he says, what are you doing here in the darkness? See, my daddy doesn't like people to see me. That's why I hide. Big as I am, it ain't easy to hide. So Batman says then, you have no reason to hide. You look okay to me. He is embarrassed by the sudden rush of compassion for the clumsy, slow-talking kid. He lobs off into the night. So later, Batman goes some, criminal hunting. He's some gunshots, and he's, going up, kicking in the doors, and there's some bodies in there. And then he hears footsteps, and he sees this guy, running away, fleeing. But then, so he picks up a refrigerator, and his suit is ripping, and he throws it through the wall onto this car. And I like this scene because, this whole car is just totally trashed. And you see this metal ripping off. It's just great. And so Batman comes down and rips off the door, and he says, "I'm Batman." Well, that's not what he's saying. "You did the dirtbags upstairs. You gotta tell me why, but not right away. First, I'm gonna hurt you." Wow, look at this grin. This looks fantastic. "I'm gonna break a few bones. Listen to you whimper." And then somebody says, "Mister, watch out." So this guy's, still alive. And I like that he's just shaking his gun, right? It just adds a little bit more story to it. And so then the gun goes off, and this guy's been hit, and then he's hearing another gunfire. It's the chattering of an Uzi. The killer's gas stops abruptly as he dies. And then the car is driving away, and Batman doesn't know what to do suddenly. Sirens shrill somewhere not far away. He does not want to answer cop question. He can't. He's muddled, unsure of what had happened. He runs from home for home. What? Batman running away? What's that? What's going on? Meanwhile, he goes down later to Commissioner Gordon, and Commissioner Gordon, I don't know, wants to have some kind of a file. And then Batman speaks about that he should quit smoking because it's bad for your health. Gordon doesn't like that. Should so, and then he says, "Is there something? Why don't you tell me something I don't know?" "Depends. What don't you know?" "I don't know who's been going around busting heads. Some guy in a hat and trench coat. Tell me about that." "No comment." "You look different, bigger, beefier." "I switched breakfast cereals. I'm eating the kind of fortified with vitamins and minerals. I still like the sugary stuff." And then he looks outside and he says, "Jim, how's the family? Barbara and the kids?" "You never asked him about them before. I rather you didn't again. I like to keep our relationship professional." "Sure, sorry. I'm calling about the ballistics report. Something is wrong. Usually he rejoices in this swinging across the roof of the city. Looks great, by the way. Feeling the energy, the excitement, the sheer life of it, letting it all seep into him until he is a part of it. But not tonight. Tonight the city is just an accumulation of stone, steel, and flesh. And he's just a man on a rope." I mean, right, it's good. So going back to General Slay something, Slaycroft, and it seems that he is the one that shoots the criminals in the alley, right? Because if and they need to get rid of the commissioner too, because the commissioner could find out that these two is working for him. Back in the day when he wasn't, I don't know, these guys served him or something. So the doctor says he won't be able to prove you fired the submachine gun last night, and even if he does, you did it to save Batman's life. That will be not relevant. Speaking of the Masked Man, is he ready for the next phase of his development? So he says, "Well, yeah, we just hook, line, and sinker. We're gonna reel him in anytime I want." And he says, Alfred, where the hell is the butler? Oh, I forgot. He's not here. Left a note. Quit." It's very, very weird what's happening here. I like that. I also like the smoke or the mist is in his caves. And but Bruce says, I need something to talk to. So maybe I can talk to the bats. The bats, they won't answer me, but they will listen. So then he's talking into himself and put some more weight on this pole. I'm sorry, I don't know what it is. I just had it in the back of my mind. I know how it's called, but I completely forgot about it. Okay, last night, somebody yelled just before the shooting. Saw him, recognized him, he says. And he looks at this guy. That kid, that Slaycroft kid. He yelled, he said, "They're going to shoot," something like that. What was he doing here? Where do you go? Into the car that he drove off. He saved my life. And he cannot pull the weights anymore. Could have been shot him himself. Then somebody shot the shooter, or did they? Maybe that happened earlier. Can't remember. Can't lift it. It's only 69, lousy 69, and I can't lift it. Kept myself fixed up pretty good now. Empty, none left. of all the lousy stupid. So he's getting really pissed off, and he yells, "Porter, his fault. Should have given me more like I asked. Think he can get away with it, does he? He got another thing coming." So he's kicking in the door, and these people are expecting him. He says, "Give it to me." "Give what to you?" "You know. But I want you to tell me. The pills. Are you prepared to earn them?" "What do you mean? Earn them?" So these guys have a proposal for him, right? So it seems that these are guys are involved in some kind of an experiment, and the doctor is scientific. So for the doctor, it's purely scientific, and for him, it's practical. We're trying to create a group of special humans. Being the first step is the pills you have grown so fond of. The general has been funding my research you have been part of, I might add. What does Slaygraf get out of it? A small group of men who will be able to deal with the filth that is overwhelming the nation. The junkies, the cheats, the shiftless incompetents that are sucking us dry. You know who I mean. Surely you do. Don't you disagree with the general? I guess not. Of course I don't. And he is having trouble concentrating. So, and then he says, "Hey, do you know who this is? It's Jim, the cop, Gordon, lieutenant of, or captain, or whatever he is, Gordon." he's completely out of it. Very good. Now, we'd like you to do, should be very simple, very easy. Kill him. Understand? No sweat. All right, and that leads us to the next one. So yeah, I'm sorry, I just was giggling the whole time because of the weird stuff is happening here. And I've seen Batman going off the rails a couple of times and through the history of, since I'm, alive and reading comics. But this is the first time that he's completely out of it and very gullible and very, obedient and subservient. Is that how the word? I'm not sure. And he's, basically an addict now. And he's going completely off the rails and doing weird stuff and saying weird stuff, wants to hurt people and cracking ribs and all that stuff. Overall, I think this is great. This is fun. So more is coming. Let me know in the comments what you think about it. All right, guys. See you next time. Bye-bye.